Casino Royale is one of the most popular Bond films of the modern era and has one of the most legendary poker scenes in it. In this video, we discuss 12 poker facts and events of Casino Royale that you probably did not know. Not all James Bond enthusiasts have read the novels. In actuality, they diverge significantly from the films. Additionally, the gambling that fuels Casino Royale's plot evolves. The game Bond had to prove himself at the book was Baccarat. The creators of the movie thought Texas Hold'em, a much more recent variation of poker, was more exciting and modern. And most non-gambling onlookers are likely to appreciate poker significantly more than Baccarat. To prepare for the filming of the Texas Hold'em poker games, including the main card game at the Casino Royale, for homework, director Martin Campbell watched classic poker movies like The Sting, Maverick, and Cincinnati Kid. The old woman that played poker with James Bond is Diane Hartford, who also appeared in Thunderball as the woman with whom Bond decides to dance at the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang Club. Jessica Miller, who plays the dealer at the poker game at the Oceans Club, is the poker manager at the Crystal Palace Casino in Nassau, Bahamas. In the country club poker scene, the villain decides to add his card to an all-in bet, and Bond calls the bet by quite unceremoniously mashing all his chips into the pot. In real life, this will never happen because firstly, the car was not a part of the buy-in and the dealer will be at fault if things don't go smoothly following this strange arrangement. And secondly, by mashing his chips in the pot, there would not be any way to separate the chips if for some reason the villain wins. Only Teddy KGB is allowed to splash the pot. The tiny model car attached to Alex Dimitrios' keychain during the poker game resembles the Aston Martin DBS that James Bond is issued later in the movie. To get the crew involved, friendly poker games were played during the production's off hours to teach the rules and regulations. Some cast members even went to casinos in Prague to watch the natural flow of professionals. By the time shooting began, the cast, including Mads Mikkelsen and Jeffrey Wright, had become addicted to poker. The poker games at the Casino Royale, which takes up the latter half of the movie, were shot in 9 days. In the original script, the character's betting strategy, especially when Le Chiffre eliminates Bond from the table, had flaws. The original script had Bond go all in once he spotted Le Chiffre's tell. Tom Sambrook, a poker consultant hired for the movie, realized that if Bond had truly believed he was bluffing, he would have slow played his hand up to the river in an effort to win more chips. So later, the $2 million raise on the river was added to induce the big all-in. In the final hand of the movie, all 4 players go all in on the river and the pot reaches $115 million. When they do reveal their hands in the final showdown, the Asian guy has the nut flush, the chances of which happening are 508 to 1. The big guy has a full house, the odds of which are 693 to 1. Le Chiffre, the villain, has an even better full house, and Bond has a straight flush, the odds of which happening are 72,192 to 1. If we combine these probabilities, the odds of all these monster hands being dealt simultaneously are 18 trillion to 1. Just to put that into perspective, our galaxy has just 300 billion stars. The final hand is also a bit flawed. Since player 1 and player 2 are merely extremely wealthy individuals playing poker, you might make a case for them, but not for Le Chiffre, who is reputed to be a maths prodigy and a top poker player. Le Chiffre, who had the second best full house, could have folded while he still had the chance to win the $115 million pot. He would have left himself with $27.5 million to Bond's $87.5. As opposed to doing that, he calls a 3-way all-in with a hand that he would almost certainly lose. And lastly, the most unusual component of Casino Royale's poker occurs at the very end of the game. Before he leaves the table, Bond tips the dealer with a $500,000 chip and the dealer casually grabs the chip saying thank you. The weird thing is that this is not a cash game. This is a tournament. The chips here do not hold actual monetary value and instead are being used as mere tokens in the game. The winner withdraws their money from a third-party bank rather than cashing in the remaining chips at the cashier's desk. So the weirdest thing about the poker and casino royale is the fact that James Bond either does not understand poker chips or purposefully insults the dealer at the end of a very long shift. The director noted this detail always amuses him.